Welcome, everyone. Hi, David.
Hi, Tisha. It's great to be here.
I know we're back again for another AppSmash webinar.
Just can't keep us apart.
I know these are some of my favorite webinars, honestly. I feel like the book creator Wakelet joint lesson plan, if you will. It just works so well. We have some incredible guests with us today, but I just want to introduce myself for those of you that are new. I'm going to let David introduce himself really quickly. I'm Tisha Poncio, community engagement with Wakelet. I'm a former educator. Actually, David, did you know I was an English teacher? I'm a former ELA teacher,
Right.
digital learning coach. I do love reading, but I don't have a lot of time. And because I'm ADHD, I've got 5 books I'm reading, David, at the same time, 5 book creator collections or creations that I'm creating. That's just how I work. Tell everybody about you.
Well, I'm David Hotler. I'm the community manager at Book Creator. I'm also a former educator. I taught photography, graphic design, and I also taught teachers how to use tech in their classroom. Tech like Book Creator and Epic and Wakelet, and how to really mash all those things together. So I'm also really excited about today's show because there's so many apps involved. Like, this is huge. It's usually just you and I, but someone's mentioning this or that. But not able to join us today is Katie from Epic Books. But don't worry, we've got a special video to show you to introduce her. So
We absolutely do. And you're right. It really lends itself to helping teachers support students, all of their learners, no matter where they are in the world. We'll talk a little bit about that. We have some incredible guests, but I want to shout out anybody in the chat, David, that you may be seeing from your community.
oh yeah, gosh, I see Alex Isaacs over there. Let's see, they've just been rolling in. Stevie Frank is here.
Yep.
Reese Alston. Yeah, there's definitely some book creator ambassadors hanging out, and I hopefully there's some champions in there. I don't get to know the champions as closely, just because there's more. But yeah, there's always so many people at these webinars. The Wakelet book creator Epic communities are just so huge.
I love this. Everybody's so excited over here. Well, we have Lois Alston. We have Inspired Impact that says, my best friend is all about book creator and I'm all about Wakelet. So we're loving this webinar today. I saw a new face that I've not seen, David, probably from your community. Obviously, Valerie. Let's see.
Yeah.
Andrea, David. I'm seeing a lot of new faces actually here.
Yeah, there's Valerie.
Yeah, it's Maha. Shout out to you, Wendy, who I know is here to support our special guest, Stormy. So there you go. Well, go ahead, David. What do you think we should pull up our special guest, Stormy and Mina? They're the real stars of the show today, y'all.
Let's do it.
There they are.
All right.
Hello, friends.
Hi.
Hello. Well, we're so glad to see both of you and have both of you. Of course, David and I got the honor of having a planning session with the two of you. So we sort of know what you're going to be sharing with all of our attendees today. We're very excited to hear from you because, like I said, you all, both of you have really, really incredible experience and backgrounds. You're working in, different grade levels, but I told Stormy this ahead of this webinar, the two of you are not afraid. And I think that's really what I admire the most about you. You're both, you kind of are fearless when you're with your students and you're not afraid to try new things and you're not afraid to inspire your colleagues without even probably meaning to, because your focus is really on your students. So I just want to say that up front. I felt that passion from you during our planning meeting, and I'm really excited for our attendees to get some of that today. So I'm going to let you guys intro yourselves, and then David and I'll do a little bit of an intro because we want everybody to be on the same page foundationally with what is Book Creator, what is Epic, and what is Wakelet. And then we're going to let you guys kind of take the show away. Does that sound okay?
Great.
Okay.
Perfect. Mina, if you'd like to go ahead, my friend.
Yes, thank you. Hi. First of all, I want to say hi to my students. I have some kiddos attending with their grown-ups, which is amazing.
I knew it. I saw it.
Project, the AppSmash project, is the one that I did with these kiddos. So they know, they are the experts actually in what we're going to be talking about. My name is Mina. I'm originally from Iraq. I've been living here in Romania for God knows how long. I'm a CELTA qualified teacher, a PYP qualified teacher, and I love anything ed tech. My favorite is, of course, Epic, Book Creator, and Wakelet. And I'm very happy to be here.
Happy to
Awesome.
have you.
So nice to meet you, Mina. I know we worked together on the project, but I don't think I ever saw you face to face. So good to see you, my new friend. My name is Stormy Daniels, and I'm an educator in El Paso, Texas. That's like the other side of Texas. That's not really Texas. But anyways, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see all my friends from the book creator community, from the Wakelet community, from the Epic community, from the Edpuzzle community, from the Quizzes community. I see everybody's coming together, and that's exactly what this project's about. So thank you for being here, friends. I hope you have fun today.
Thank you both so much. We're excited to get started. So I think David's going to share his screen. He has his screen ready. He's going to be doing the honors, because if I happen to hop off, it's just because I'm having a sneezing fit. Thank you, Dallas allergies, the mold and the rain. So, but David's screen, I'm going to pop it up for you, David.
Yeah,
and
there it is.
We're gonna get started on just really giving you a foundation. I know a lot of you are coming in from different parts of the community. So whether it's the book creator community, or it's the Wakelet community, or the Epic community, and we just want to point out that right there, we have this resource collection. We are going to share it with you, so don't worry. You're going to have it. This session is being recorded, so you can share it with all of your friends. And we've popped that YouTube link there so that you can find that really easily. And we're going to just talk a little bit about our platforms. So I just want to talk to you about Wakelet and give you a really quick understanding. Wakelet, you'll see a little example over there with Julie Parsons' profile. This is actually her portfolio. And so each user would have a profile like Julie does here. And within that profile, she has collections. So she's curating collections. You see her using this for her professional life. So she is working through her data analytics certification. But Julie started using this platform as a high school freshman, and now she is a postgraduate looking into a master's degree. Wakelet is safe and secure. So FERPA, COPA, New York Ed Law 2D compliant. It's compatible with anything that you're using within your district, whether that's a learning management tool or a digital tool like Book Creator and Epic. You can use Wakelet for teaching and learning. So all of those C's: creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration. And then it supports instructional goals. You're going to see that throughout this webinar. You're going to see Stormy and Mina both share what they're doing with their students. So whether that's student-centered learning or direct instruction, flipped, student-paced, differentiated, personalized learning, you're going to see all of that. Wakelet really will support that no matter what you are doing. So that gives you a little background of Wakelet. And now I think, David, we have a video.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Katie from Epic Books wasn't able to join us, but she did record a little video for us to watch. So I'm going to play that and be quiet. And someone give me a thumbs up if they can hear the audio.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie, and I'm with Epic. Excited to be with y'all today to talk a little bit about what Epic is. So Epic is the leading digital reading platform for kids 12 and under, and we have just a ton of content, amazing content on our platform here. So we've got over 46,000 of the most popular kids' books and videos of all time. A lot of the favorites, the I Survived series, Wings of Fire as an audiobook, a lot of awesome content that kids are really actually liking to read. We also have a lot of award winners like Newbery Awards, Caldecott Awards, Watercress being one of my favorite. We even have titles in multiple languages. The majority of our content is in English, but we also have Spanish, French, and Mandarin, and a lot of fantastic formats. So teachers tell us frequently that their favorites are the read to me books. So as the students are listening to the book, it's being read aloud. The words on the page are also lighting up to really support emergent readers. We also have audiobooks, video books, and quizzes at the end that teachers can create as well as use from our bank of quizzes. And we even have our own Epic originals. So these are written by our in-house team of children lit experts. They are fantastic, and they really infuse reading and learning into the stories without the kids even knowing it. With one of our favorites and our most popular being Cat Ninja there in the bottom right-hand corner. And just a couple numbers to get us going. Tons and tons of books are read every year on Epic, over 1 billion. 60 million plus kiddos are using Epic in school and at home every year. And about 80% of US elementary schools are using Epic. So if you're not aware of it, if you haven't used it before, would love to share you a little bit about our products. We have Epic Family, of course, that a parent can purchase for home use. But I think most of us are teachers here. We have our school products. There are 2 school products. One of them is probably what you're most familiar with is Epic School. It is completely and totally free Monday to Friday, 7 to 3 p.m. for schools and teachers and students. So if you haven't yet used it, please feel free to check it out and get an account set up, access tons of fantastic books. We also have Epic School Plus, which is our latest product. It's purchasable by your school or your district. So not yet class-wide, but for your school or your district. And it would give you access to double the amount of content. So 40,000 books versus 20,000 in the free, and it's 24/7 access. So that means students can read at home on the weekends for homework. If you're curious about it, check out more information at our website, getepic.com. But thank y'all so much. And without further ado, I'll pass it on to the rest of the team. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, it's such a bummer that Katie couldn't be here, but what an absolute gem for recording that video and sharing a little bit about Epic Books. If you're not using it, you should definitely check it out.
The
It
chat's
is
going
such,
crazy, David,
I
for
know.
Epic
Yeah,
Books.
for Epic Books and Miss Mina. That's
exactly.
crazy. I'm loving it. So I'm not going to take up too much time here. I've embedded a book into the Wakelet resource that you're going to get that we'll share a link to in the chat. And so just to show you some little app smashing going on here, you can turn the pages right here to your book. So if you're not familiar with Book Creator is the most inclusive way for teachers and students to build digital content online. This book right here is chock full of reasons why you might want to use Book Creator in your classroom, but we can add excitement to any one of your subjects. We are completely accessible to your students. When you see the interface, it's built for everyone. There's just one button that you press. You can work it with your voice. There is speech to text. There's recording videos. We see it used with sign language students all the time. So it's an incredibly immersive platform. The kids love becoming creators while they're using it. They can show you what they know. They can have this authentic audience, which I'll talk a little bit about later too. And it's just so easy to use. We just encourage people to dive right in. So hopefully, if you haven't used Book Creator before, you head over to bookcreator.com and check it out. But we'll be sharing all those links, and you'll have a link to this book at the end of the show. But Tisha, what is next?
Well, I think next, David, did you want to talk about The World Is My Audience yet? Or are we going to do that at the end?
All right, yeah. So we know that when students have an authentic audience, they're more likely to pour their hearts into their work. They're more likely to turn it in late or come in on recess or beg you to work on it when they should be doing something else. So we are giving them that platform during Be an Author Month, which is March. It's just filled with these literacy events. So Be an Author Month coincides with The World Is My Audience, hashtag TWEMA. And what we're doing is we're running this global Tell Us Who You Are event. And here's John Smith telling you all about this. Will be our 11th time running it. And essentially what we're asking kids to do is say, this is me. Who are you? Let the world know. And on April 17th, we're going to be grabbing a handful of folks that have submitted their books into us through their teacher. And we're going to be bringing them on and giving them that platform and letting the world be their audience. So watch what happens when you put an authentic audience in front of your students and you give them an opportunity to tell the world who they are. That's what we're trying to do. So super exciting stuff. You can check out this link just below the book that I shared in the Wakelet webinar, but it's got all the information on how to get involved. And we have got template starter books for all the students and tons of resources to support teachers with their lessons. So you can run this with any age student, and you can submit the books right through this page. We'll be handpicking 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, and we'll be having them on to share their story live with a global audience. So really excited stuff.
That's so cool, David. You know, I get excited when students are sharing about themselves to a global audience. Stormy and I were talking about this before we went live, but I love giving the students the autonomy and power to lead that, right? That is so powerful. So that's really exciting. Make sure you check that out. And we want you to connect with Stormy and Mina. So we've included their LinkedIn link. So you want to connect with Mina via LinkedIn. She is on Twitter if you happen to find her, but you're not going to be able to connect with her as quickly as you will LinkedIn. And that holds true for me too. So Mina and I, we're connected on LinkedIn now. Thank you, Mina. And Stormy, Miss Stormy Daniels is over on Twitter, and she will also X. I know, Stormy. I just can't get on board with it. I just can't yet.
Team control.
It feels, I know, team control. It feels weird to me though. I'm always going to be the rep.
You cannot say I X'd it.
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't know. I X'd it.
I don't know. I just feel like it has a whole different context. But Stormy is over there on X, and you can connect with her. And I believe, David, we're going to have Stormy actually do sharing first. But
okay,
if we can pop your screen on one more time, David.
Well, let me put it right back on.
David stopped sharing. He thought he was finished.
It's the easiest way. Okay.
I put you on the spot.
Put it in there. Put my screen back in there.
So if you scroll down under the resources, so what you'll find when we send you this resource collection, if it finally loads, yes,
it's coming.
It's going.
There it is.
I put together just a quick graphic for you. If you're not sure how to get started with Book Creator and Wakelet and Epic all together, here are some ideas for you: digital portfolios, book clubs, author studies, virtual field trips, digital storytelling. There's so much that you can do with these three tools. And so I know if you aren't sure where to start, Mina and Stormy are going to be great people for you to reach out to. In the chat as well, I'm seeing, like Stevie said, that Epic is a really great way to bridge some things for students. So you've got some great people in the chat to ask as well. But we're going to have Stormy go ahead and start. Stormy, are you ready to share your screen?
I'm always ready.
Okay.
Even when I'm not.
All right. Well, you're on. Take it away.
All right. Awesome. So, hello, friends. I like that you guys are having a little party over there in the chat. Wish I was there. I'm there too. So let's get started. Before I begin, I just want to give a little background on the project, as I like to say, because I teach spelling. On the project, I'm excited to be here with you today to share some of what we did in this project. This project included ambassadors from all three communities, and everyone kind of put their own spin and their own perspective on designing learning. So maybe you'll see something here today that you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need. Or maybe not. And so what's great is that there is an entire resource bank of collections. Alex Isaac was one of the creators, and we're going to share some of his things later. But I just want to point out that it was an entire team. And the beauty of the project was that we got to collaborate. Oftentimes we'll meet to talk about tools, which are great. We'll meet to talk about different things, but we don't really get down to the how are we going to use this, right? So that's what my favorite thing about the project was. And on that note, let's get started, shall we? I'm going to first show you my collection resource. I'll be presenting from this collection. And so everything I'm sharing is already here. So you can just kick back, enjoy that last minute spring break or intro to spring break beverage if you would like, or just tune in. So we have all this recorded for you and linked. So the first thing I would like to share is one of my templates. But before I share it, I want to show you what my inspiration for was it. When we are designing learning, it's an art, right? We want to design learning that actually engages our students and that's actually fun for us too. So we need an idea. So my brother Muhammad, my co-teacher, and I did a co-teaching project with his students and my students where we went into each other's classrooms virtually to teach informational writing. His students at this all-boys school are much older than my students, but they all have to write. So we were able to collaborate. And then once we did the initial launch with this project, and he's in the chat, he can tell you more about it. We use this informational text template to personalize it for exactly what my students need and exactly what his students need. But as I show you now, and let me remember to share this tab instead, we'll hop on over here now to this template. You'll notice that this template is housed in a Wakelet collection. So we didn't just make a template and say, hey, use this template. No, my friends, we created instructionals. You know, what are we thinking when we create this madness, right? So I'm going to go through first what we call the teacher's edition of our templates. So each of us in our designs have also created this resource for you. And within my Wakelet collection, just like I do for my students, I provided little chunks of information here. If you learn best by video. Hello, and welcome to Rev Up Your Writing, informational text. So I think you can hear this collaborative project is created for use in the video. I think you can hear me. So when you go back to this after today's party that you're having over there in the chat, if you come back to this resource and you want to say, hey, what did she say? I wasn't listening. That's okay, my friends, because it's recorded. So there is a tutorial, little hunks and chunks tutorial. There is also a lesson plan like design. Maybe you want to turn in lesson plans. You don't want to write them. Well, copy this, modify it, and it's yours. So I've placed it in a video for my visual learners, my like me learners, and then in words, and also in, you know, more formal success criteria, learning objectives. So this is really adaptable for anybody you teach. And all of our templates are the same way. Along in this collection, there are also the resources to the Get Epic books or any other resources. And I'm going to show you some other app smashing that you didn't know you were going to get today. There's some bonus coming up at the end of my presentation. So as David just showed you, how beautiful this looks in Book Creator, right? So I'm going to click on this in the Book Creator tab. So maybe you're not sure, I'm sorry, in the Wakelet collection. This is a Book Creator template in the Wakelet collection. You see that magic? It's not magic. It's one link, as you know, my friends. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show this to you full screen. And thumbs up if you can see that, or let me know in the chat. If you don't see that, you should be seeing the Epic book collection. And now I'm going to flip through the book. This is before you ever went over to the amazing Book Creator to sign in. This is just when you're shopping for what you want to use. So within the template, you're good. You can see the book. Okay. I found the tab to check. Thank you, Tisha. So in this Wakelet collection, as David did, I'm opening the book and I just said, show me full screen. In my collection here, you'll see it's a textbook template. These templates are in Book Creator. It might look familiar to you. We want it to look familiar to our students. I like to change everything, but my students don't really adapt to things as fast as I do. So I try to keep things simple. So here's the template that you can remix today. You'll just click on this remix, take it to your own Book Creator library, and then adapt it to you. In my class, I try to put myself in their learning materials. That way they're not coming up to me asking me questions. And that way I can put the learning with the learner, right? But I didn't want everyone to have a picture of me because they might not want it. So when I created these templates.
Welcome, friends.
I found
now that you
really
have had a
cool
chance to learn about informational
AI
texts from your reading of Rev Up Your Writing and Informational Texts on
and
Epic Books.
Dr. Sarah Thomas, who during her AI conference showed me this. And so shout out to her for sharing that with me. But this is simply, I copied all of my text into this generator.
It is your turn to create.
In Canva.
You will use these planning pages with your group to help you follow the process and capture your idea.
And so my students can listen to the instructions for this project. And guess what happens if they forgot what to do? They can go listen again. Also in these templates, there are like stickies, right? My favorite thing in the world to do is stickies. And what I noticed I forgot to tell you about is the most important thing for this webinar is this book in Epic Books. If I click on this book and if my students click on this book, they get this collection that I have created them for Rev Up Your Writing. So you see it's already in the book. And then I've assigned it on the other end, on the teacher end, so I know who's actually read it. So let's go back to the template. In these templates, I have placed the same type of graphic organizers that the students learn about in that Epic Books creation. I'm sorry, in that Epic Books book. So they're able to create with the same tools they're learning from. And as I was wanting to get to before, because my favorite thing in the world for team control is these stickies. When your students are designing, right now I'm just viewing, so I can't move that sticky. When your students are designing, they'll be able to interact with all of these elements. And not only that, whoever's collaborating in the book with them, their team, will be able to interact with those elements. So these are more of the, I just want to walk through here quickly and show you that these are all in there. And here's another talking head.
Hold onto your hats. These pages are about to be packed with excitement and wonder that'll make your heart.
And this talking head kind of encourages them to keep going. And there's that teacher friend again.
Now that you have used Rev Up Your Writing as a guide to help you complete your planning,
She's going to tell them again what they're going to do now. So now they've moved past the learning about informational text, and now they're ready to create their own informational text. They're not going to get another template. They're not going to go somewhere else. My students are like 7, 8, and 9 years old. So that's too many steps, right? We don't want those learning gaps to be created because of our instructional design gaps. So the students are going to, right here within this book, create their informational book in the same place they've been doing all their planning. Right here, they're going to be able to continue to create. And these templates are done for them. So the only thing they're adding to the book creator, now that they know how to do it, is their content that they researched, right? So this is a template and they know to, replace what's in there, but they're not having to recreate from scratch. And that's something I like to point out as we're creating or designing learning is most people will save the book creator because book creator is such an important tool to use after they learn it, after they come to my lesson, after, right? And the problem is, that's all right. But the problem is when they do that, there's this gap because now I learned from you. And if I don't apply it right now, what happens to it? It goes away. But if I don't include the book creator in the beginning, then I have this gap and that information seeps out because now I'm learning about how to use book creator. So don't do that, my friends. Use book creator from the start and teach the tool as they're using the tool. So now we're going to pop back over there to my main collection, and I'm going to take you to my next idea. Everyone starts with an idea, right? So we have this mandated curriculum, and if you're in Texas or anywhere, you might be familiar with CKLA, ELAR units, and they're very rich in scientific stuff, right? And they're great, and they're mandated, so we have to use them. So what I like to do is make whatever I have to do part of what they want to do. So that's what I did here. We were learning about the human body system. This content was way over my head. Not that I'm not scientific, but I'm not my sister who's a nurse, right? So it was way over my head. So I needed to find a way to make my students engaged so they would absorb the content, right? And make those connections. And most importantly, connect the literary skills we were learning. So once again, in this collection, it's for this template. And there's my little teaching video again. Not teaching. Hello, just thought I'd make a quick video to walk you through the steps of this project. The first thing you're going to want to do happens in the home team. So your students are probably already in. Hello, just thought I'd make a quick, trying to stop myself here. And so you'll see there's a tutorial there that gives you the gist of this workflow of this project, because this project's a little different. This project is based on the Jigsaw learning strategy, where students are in home team groups and then they go off to an expert group to learn, and then they come back and create with their team. That's the gist of the Jigsaw strategy. And this video in here
Hello, and welcome
teach
to
you
another
not only how to use the template, but it'll teach you kind of the thinking behind it, right? And then once again, I have created for you the written version of the idea. There are some links to more learning on the Jigsaw cooperative learning activities if you would like to see them. Get a little PD on the side. Another project overview. Any templates that I created are available to you inside the Wakelet collections. So this is a template. You can print this out and use this to check off. Okay, I did that. I did that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change that. So this is all for you for free, 90 free. You don't have to pay a textbook developer. And then I have also included possible assessment extension ideas here, the link to the Get Epic, and then the collection of the Get Epic books pieces they'll be using, because for this one, they're going to be using 4 different books depending on what expert system they go to. And I provide all these books to all the students because the other team might not learn what they need to know, and they might realize I got to do my own research. This is a tracker that I created that my students actually use. So I just printed this on, it looked like a little bookmark, but they were able to choose their team on here. So this is the tracker we used for our Epic book. Very simple. It's just the book covers. And then here is the Epic book. I'm sorry, the book creator book. There's so many amazing things. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and you see it pops up all these other design options. I'm going to go to full screen, and then I'm going to quickly browse through this book. This book says on the cover, it's a Jigsaw collaboration activity created for use with Epic Books. And in that walkthrough over there, I told you exactly what to do to set up this project, from forming teams to bringing them back to collaborative work. So there's a lot of pedagogy practice, best practices or better practices over there. And I only know them because I've done a lot of Jigsaw strategy, cooperative learning that went totally wrong. So I can tell you what not to do. We can learn from each other, right? So the first thing they're going to do is choose their system. And you see, this is kind of walking them through. The students are going to create as they go. And then these are their note takers to take back to their home group, remember. So the expert team, each expert team will be working in this book together. And I teach 3rd grade currently, and so we do a lot with text features. I want them to add text features to the book when they take it back. So when they go through those Epic books, there's kind of a guide. They're not just going to read it and come back and say, I didn't learn anything. They need to find a table of contents. And from the table of contents, they need to write notes on what they learned. They need to find some bold print and show me evidence where they found it, and then what they learned from that bold print. And so you'll see as I go through, I've provided my students what they need to be successful at their, not just grade level, but at their understanding level. And I could totally modify this for different groups, right? So these books are totally customizable by you, the learning designer behind the scenes. At the end of every book, you'll see a link back to this book creator template. I'm sorry, this Wakelet walkthrough template, right? So on to the next book. This book, I'm not going to have much time to go through it, but I just want to show one thing that's kind of a bonus. If you want to know more about this Adapt to Survive challenge, there's a video right there, another video walkthrough that we did during the Texas Teachers Book Creator Meetup. So we're going to jump into this really quick because I always want to show my Sonoran Desert. I'm from Arizona originally. So here's another template. You'll see that these templates for the teacher are all the same, right? These Wakelet templates for learning. There's the instructional video. Hello, and welcome to Adapt to Survive. a quest-based challenge for all learners. So this not only tells you about the template, but it tells you more about the thinking behind remember. And so as you go through this, you're going to see the same thing. In this one, I have given you my Canva tracker. This is what I give to my students, and they need to unlock each quest. So however you already set up your quest-based learning or whatever you already do, you can easily take this tracker and overlay your links on it. If perhaps you do a digital breakout, whatever you do, this tracker will help you to align that quest with your students. Because on this tracker, you see that they have their quests easily identified. So that is free for you. The teacher notes are here. This is what I want to show you, the bonus. So in this book, I have, of course, embedded some Wakelet inside the book. I've embedded some Epic inside the book. I also embedded some Edpuzzle and quizzes because these tools allow me to further be in the book with my students, right? So they could take this learning anywhere they want with them. I'm still there. I still get to sneak in, right? So we're going to take 1 minute to just look through this book. Look at that beautiful design. Thank you, Canva. And I used AI to add these desert animals.
Stormy, I just have to hop in and like interrupt you. Everybody loves what you're sharing. You have AppSmashed like to the highest level is what I have to say. You are exciting everybody in the chat and they are really going crazy over your templates. Lori was like, these templates are so great. I hate to interrupt you, but I want Mina to have enough time to share.
Can I say one thing really quick?
Yes, please.
So this book right here, you probably make something called an interactive science notebook, an interactive reading notebook, an interactive something. I designed this book so even though we're still doing that, you can do it digitally. So you'll see this left brain, right brain template here is how everything is designed. My teacher side is the Edpuzzle lesson, and my students can do that right there. And then on the same thinking page, they do their quest and the quest is there. So think of this as an interactive science notebook for your students. And then at the end, of course, that final quest quizzes assessment. I recommend you use Mastery Peak for that. And then at the end of this book are all the links to everything. I give it to you all free, my friends. I'm sorry I talked so long. Let me just stop
Stormy,
sharing. I don't know how.
Stormy, you're great. Listen, so just to clarify, I just want to make sure the link that you have in our resource collection, our main resource collection that David and I have, they're getting all of that in your single Wakelet link. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. All of it in one nice.
That is so cool. Listen, they're loving it, and Alex Isaac says smashed, like that covered it. You have so many resources that I feel like I'm equipped to go do something cool now with random students or my own children. Okay, so I'm gonna hop you off. We're gonna get Mina up here. So we're gonna bring you back though, Stormy. So don't go anywhere because we're gonna give some.
I'm right here watching.
Yes, and if anybody has questions in the chat, please add those. So any questions for Stormy or Mina, add those, and we'll come back and answer those. Okay, I'm adding David and I'm adding Mina really quickly. Hi, David. Listen, was that not so cool? I just feel like I want to use all of these apps now.
So
Mina,
many apps.
Are you ready? You've got a lot to share as well. So I want you to have ample time.
I feel like I'm underprepared now. I thought I have a list of sharing.
You do. No, you have a ton of stuff.
You have a ton. David and I are going to hop off. I'm going to add your screen, but we'll be here if you need to double check anything. And yes, if you're asking for that resource link, David and I will put it in the chat very, very soon. We will be right back. Mina, are you ready to take it away?
Let's go.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy that you're here. I am just like Stormy. I love all of the platforms that you talked about, but I'm going to walk you through how I go about planning my lessons. As an IB teacher, an IB teacher working in one of the best IB schools that I've worked with, they're very open to a lot of ed tech to incorporate in my lessons. So this is how I go about planning my lessons. We just learned about how we are in place and time, for example, and in order for me to direct my kiddos into planning their work, I've always created for them or find some collections on Epic in order for them to have the resources that they need in order to do their research, to get information for their project or anything that can help them create their project. So, for example, we learned how people from the past can help us make connections in the present. So this was our library or collection that I sent to them. They went through, I'm teaching grade 2 now, English grade 2, and they went through this library in order for them to take a checklist and create one of the coolest projects ever. Their project was called Once Upon a Time Traveling Book. My kiddos had absolute freedom into creating their books. They created the cover, they created the inside. The only task was to make a comparison between how things used to be before and how they are now. So for example, I have Eva and Mia here. They worked together into creating their own book. I have another example to show you. So they chose, for example, if you can see the background, they chose here the old wooden with the old photos to show this is in the past and this is in the present now. They kept this going throughout the entire book, which was so cool to read. At the same time, I have other two kiddos here, Philip and Dragos. They did completely different style, completely on their own, without any instruction from me. They decided to make it look cool and fancy with lots of these kind of pow and amazing backgrounds that Book Creator has. They were very easily able to find all the cool photos from the search option that Book Creator has, and they were able also to draw. Whatever they wanted to draw, to illustrate, whatever they wanted to say about our target. Another way I use Book Creator is newsletters. I love so much sharing what we do in the class with my parents as well as the kiddos. My first target is always the kiddos. I would like them to have a memory whenever we finish a unit or whenever we finish a week. When I used to be a homeroom teacher 2 years ago, I used to send detailed newsletters. Originally, it used to be with Google Docs, and it's a little bit too not child friendly. It can be too vertical, doesn't have lots of interactivity. But with Book Creator, it made it on a whole new level. Very interesting, very interactive. So 2 years ago, I sent, this is one of my examples. I'm able to address the parents, talk about my unit of inquiry with the central idea, as well as go through all the resources and all the options that I have done during that or covered during that week. So these are photos from my classroom, as well as here, if you can see, this is a clickable video. You can just click and watch the videos that we watch. So parents are completely informed. There is 100% transparency in what's happening in the class, in case they don't know. Because as an IB school, they usually don't have like a book they need to finish from the start to the end, like how we used to learn a long time ago. So we select different resources from different places, and we're able to make a collection at the end for parents also to follow through. As you can see on this side here, my kiddos are using Epic in order to collect information for their project. So it is all connected in one place as a newsletter to be sent to the parents at the end. I love that some of my kiddos used to print out even these kind of newsletters and send it to have it in their house, and they kept it for a very long time. At the end, I always like to share also photos from the classroom by the end. So it's a great place, and it's like unlimited pages you could create. So it's a great thing to share with parents and kiddos. This is another form of newsletter that I have. So as you can see, I have all the freedom to design it as a teacher, however I like, include as many videos, as many pictures. My other teachers from other topics like Arabic, Chinese, IT, they were able also to add to the book. We collaborated together, and they were able to add their parts of the newsletter as well. One of my favorite ways is to share shout outs with kiddos and teachers without giving them any kind of I said that. So without signing my name, I always like to share shout outs in general, but specifically for World Kindness Day, which already passed. This is my example from 2020. I didn't have Book Creator when I started that, but we used to use, if you can see here, a tissue box, and my kiddos used to write the shout out on a paper and put it in the tissue box, and I would display it on the wall, and the kiddos will come and pick up their wall paper and take it home. They'll feel great about themselves because they see how much people love them and appreciate them. But when I found out about Book Creator, this was the most fun part ever. I created for them a template. It was completely empty, only with the name of the person, and everyone was able to go and just write whatever they like, design it however they like. They were able to write for their friends, and they were able to write also for teachers. So if I click here for, if I go back like this, go forward, you can see all the kiddos. But if I come back and click for a teacher's name, for example, you can see that they're writing for their teachers also. Some of them are even writing in Arabic, for example, because they had that option. I love sharing shout outs, and it's a very easy to share. Kids can collaborate on the same book. You can, as a teacher, you're able to observe who is doing what, help them in real time, and be able to adjust anything that can seem not looking good for the placement or outside of the book. So this was all done in class with me. No one worked outside of the class, but as well as they can work outside of the class, they have this availability as well. The next thing I would like to talk about, I love what Stormy talked about, the voiceover. She added the small cartoon in order to direct kiddos on what to do next. I created this interactive storybook, which we all know, Little Red Riding Hood. It's a great story. And I found this one on TPT by a teacher called Madison Bibb. It's down there. And I just created the book for it. But it is so much fun because my kiddos can read a book in a more interactive way. It's very fun to do. So they get to read the story and then choose whatever they like to do, like a video game. So if they choose the left path, they can click on the left path like that and see how it goes, and then they can choose something else. So all I did is add pictures and hyperlink it to the page that I want them to go. But I also have the option of recording, because I also share these kind of books with my younger kiddos that are not able to read fluently until now, and or they're learning to. So they would click here and listen to me reading the story, and it will also help them with their fluency as well as reading punctuation. So I'll play just for a little bit. So there is how you can make it more than just a reading book. And if I'm going to click here, for example, this has an ending here. This is an end. But at the same time, this book, because it is an interactive book, I think it has around 45 endings or something like that. So they get to, if they don't like how it goes or how it ends, they could read it again and go through the pages all over again. Okay. One other thing that I would like to talk about is when we did the AppSmash project, the task was to use all three apps together, which we already do, and my kiddos we're working on a unit called Who We Are, and the central idea was our future is shaped by families, friends, and role models. So we were learning all about role models around us, and I wanted them to show me their own role models. So I created for them this template, and everything on the side here is just an instruction that is not going to be shown on the original book. So my kiddos were working on it like this. However, when you send the book or when you share it online, it should look like this. So I'm going to show you some examples from the inside. One of the things were upload a photo of your role model here, and then they're going to click on the plus. So these are directions for me to show them how to upload a photo just in case they forgot. But anything on the side here, if you click on the play, is going to disappear. So if you are teaching them how to use Book Creator, you need to make sure to tell them how not to write on the gray area. My kiddos were able to record mini videos teaching us all about their role models. They were able to draw, upload their drawing here about their role models. Right, we were learning about acrostic poem. I was able to share with them a video to show them what is acrostic poem and how to do it. Now, what the beauty about this is we were able to share this with lots of other teachers through Wakelet. And this is basically a lesson plan for teachers. I wrote for teachers here how or what is the lesson or the target of this project about, and the instruction of how we did it in the class. And I'm not sure why the YouTube video. This is a YouTube video that we watched in the class and we were able to share it. So my kiddos were able to go through Epic, read read through a collection, and were able to write on come here and complete their template, basically to create their individualized journals, basically. But this was my lesson plan that I was able to share with other teachers as well. Let me just go back another way. So creative writing, that's one of my favorite aspects of Book Creator also, because it is unlimited of the things that you can do with it. This is one of the libraries that I worked with some of my fifth graders a few years ago. We were learning about Edgar Allan Poe, and they got inspired by him, and they all wrote some of their very scarily horror stories. These are all designed completely and independently by kids. So I'm able to, if I want to show it as an example, as a teacher, grab this link and just send it to other teachers or other kiddos to show them how kiddos have the ability to do whatever they want. Let me just open a book for you. Let's go for Sirin. This is one of my favorite books. We get to talk about design. This was all completely on her own. We get to talk about how it looks. Again, these are fifth graders, so for them to write completely on their own, I feel that they've done an amazing job here. So yeah. Also, how I like to use Wakelet, one of my favorite things were when I got to know Wakelet, is be able to share my lesson plans with people. I used to have a kiddo that registered to the school, but he wasn't able to join the school on time. So in order for the kiddo to keep up with us, I was able to share with this kiddo exactly what we did in the class. So he was able to follow up at home. So Wakelet is not necessarily made only for teachers, of course not. It depends on the language that you're using and the target that people that you're targeting. You are able to use it in different ways. For example, here we learned about a story in the past simple, and I sent for him from live worksheet. And I sent to him the live worksheet so he can complete it on his own. Same thing if doing games. We did this game, for example, in the class, and he was able to do that from his hometown before coming to Romania, for example. Yeah. Another thing that I like to use with Wakelet is any kind of school news. It's a very easy way to put everything in one place and just share the link to parents or kiddos. So for example, at the beginning of the year, we would send a school supply list, and I would like just to put the PDF there and just send them the link. Instead of sending emails, they get to have one link with everything that is required, as well as a video description of what I needed from them to do. So everything I put in one place and send it to parents. Also, what I always love to start the year with is get to meet the teacher, because we don't always get to see them exactly on the first day. So I sent for them, get to know Miss Mina at the beginning as an introduction about me a little bit, some photos, some videos from my classes. This is, for example, English camp class. This is one of my pre-K class, or no, kindergarten class. as an example, so parents can get to know my teaching style before the kiddos join my class, as well as later on adding more links to the end videos to my Get to Know Miss Mina. We love Kahoot. I'm a Kahoot ambassador, and my friend Steve from Kahoot is the creator of Kahoot Cup. And it was an amazing thing to also add this part of it to show how much the kiddos are going to have lots of different things to be exposed to during this school year. So it's not like they're coming blindly. Transparency is always key whenever we are teaching any new class or any kid, not necessarily a new class. And that's it. I feel like I don't have as many resources to share. What do you think?
What?
Mina,
Are
you
you
have
out of your mind?
so many resources. I'm
That
telling
was
you,
so fun.
you have just hit a record, because as you were presenting, I was updating the resource collection to make sure that everything you were sharing was reflected on that link. I have put the link of resources out into the chat. So if you're watching and you've wanted that, it's there linked, as well as the certificate link. Mina, you should have seen David and I. We both were like astounded when you said there were 45 endings to the Red Riding Hood story. We just stopped in our tracks behind the scenes. And we're
give it a
thinking,
try. It's a very cool book. That teacher is amazing. So when I found it, I was like, it has to be done on Creator.
that's incredible. Again, you had so many cool things to share. I want to kind of recap a little bit of some of because I take notes as you're presenting of things that I'm hearing that just really stand out to me. But the World Kindness book that you created, I think is, sometimes we overlook activities like that. And I really just want to hit on that, because you were creating this culture of connection and community for your students. And sometimes as teachers, I'm even saying it because I did it, we would get so focused on what we had to do, which is what Stormy said, what we have to do, the things that are required of us, that we forget to pull in those pieces. And that was just, it was a beautiful thing to see. Everybody in the chat was so excited to see that specifically. And then Stormy, let me just come back to something that you said. And you both kind of hit on this. Too many gaps, right? Too many learning gaps because of too many steps before the students are able to apply their learning. I have to re-say that again. It stuck with me so much. And I think you both have showed this beautiful way of how to use technology and AppSmash in this meaningful way that really, like I said in the beginning, is for the students, right? That is where your hearts are. And it was very evident. And I love this quote as well. You both were doing it. You said, Stormy, make what I have to do part of what they want to do. I know, right, David?
I wrote that down too. I was like, that's sticky.
It is sticky. And it just, your session, both of you have so many shares. There's so much in that collection. You've really equipped everybody on this webinar, whether they were familiar with Wakelet or Book Creator or Epic, to take all three of those and really create this powerhouse of learning for their students. Again, what I love to show, Mina and Stormy, you present it completely different ways. I always say, there's a way, not the way. And you know that I have coined that phrase as much as my colleague Ryan hates it. It's true. There are multiple ways to get to a final destination, and you guys have really shown that and modeled that for everybody on the webinar. David, do you have any questions for them or any last minute remarks?
I mean, I'm just blown away, like always, with ambassadors in our communities that are using the platforms in ways that, sometimes the creators didn't even think was possible. So just kudos to you and using technology to help students reach that deeper understanding and, win less time in a more efficient way. So just absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Stormy, Mina, do you have anything you would like to say before we hop off?
I would like to say thank you. It's a great opportunity to be able to share all of these things because we do sit and learn for hours and hours, I suppose, Stormy, if you are like me here. Because when I get excited about something, I always want to know everything about it. But it's different than when you get to share it with someone else, if they are students or educators or even parents. I have a lot of parents that got interested in Book Creator after seeing their kiddos' creations with horror bits of horror library. Yeah.
Awesome. And so I would just like to say, as I always do, if we're designing for learning and they're not learning, they're starving. It's kind of like fishing, right? If I'm fishing and not catching, it's casting. So let's not cast. Let's design for learning from the start for everybody.
Absolutely. There are so many little diamonds in that webinar. Share this with everybody who might have missed it. Anybody that is a learning designer, like Stormy says. Thank you all. David, thanks for co-hosting with me. I always love joining you. A really great session, and I'm so glad I got to be part of it. Make sure you follow Mina and Stormy on LinkedIn, on Twitter, X. You can find David and I in lots of places as well. So just search us up and make sure you're following Epic and Book Creator and Wakelet. There's so much happening on all three platforms. And we're all here to answer any of your questions or to send over any inspiration. Thanks again, all of you, for joining. All of you out there globally, we love hanging out with you. And until next time, we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, friends. Thank you for coming. We need an after party.